So, what does it mean? What is the value of not knowing? It's really big. Because what we know is what we really base our thoughts and our actions on. I really have experienced this personally too. I mean, and I guess it's, I never thought I'd make it past 33. You know, I was a young, wild musician, and people like me just didn't live past 33, and they didn't. A lot of them didn't. My friends didn't, but I did. I got lucky. I almost got killed a lot of times, but I didn't, for whatever reason. So maybe, like my parents, I'll live to about 87. Maybe not. Who knows? You know. I don't know if it's better. I mean, the musicians that died around that age, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, Janis Joplin, the guy from the Doors,
Jim Morrison.
All these artists, you know, the French poets, the crazy French poets, Sylvia Plath, whose son just committed suicide.
Really?
Yeah. But we know that this is bad. It doesn't have to be good, but is that the answer? Are you really going to, if one of you lives to 90, let's say you live to 90, but you only live to 70, so will you have one?
It's a shame that we're if she has more money.
If so, what? Did you win? Okay, you won 20 more years. But what's 20 years in eternity? Okay, and what's 20 more years if you just worry the whole time and thinking about getting old? So, not knowing opens up a lot of things. In fact, I would say to you that, in my mind, not knowing is the only way out. The only way that you can really change your life, can really look at life differently. Because otherwise you just know another fact. And then when, what's his name? Tolle? What's that guy's name?
Tolle.
Yeah, when he writes a new book, then you have to, you know, develop a whole other idea of what the universe is about. And then what if Oprah likes somebody else better next year? Then you have to like, and have you ever thought about these new ideas, like Tolle's ideas or whoever's? You know, we hold them for about a week or a month or 2 weeks. Not knowing, you can hold. You can cultivate. You can make it deeper. You can just honestly, as a practice, say, well, I really don't know. Depending on your religious beliefs, for example, I've said this before, but you know, if you know, let's say your particular knowing is that after you die, you're going to be up and I don't think people really believe this anymore, but you're going to be sitting on a cloud with a harp, eating marshmallows. I like the marshmallows. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's such a good thing. I mean, I feel a little uncomfortable with it myself. I don't look good in white anyway. Or, you know, like there are other religions believe that you'll be resurrected and you'll be with your family forever. What an idea. I mean, I'm sure there are people in your family that you'd like to be with forever, but if you want to think about what being with your family forever is like, is think about Christmas. An eternal Christmas without presents.
I once had Mormon missionaries come to my door, and that was their stance. Well, don't you want to live forever with your parents, with your family in heaven?
Well,
and I went, God, no.
And then look at the other options that people believe. Some people believe that you're going to burn in flames forever. That's not so nice. But I was reading this book about Arctic voyages, and those people believe you're going to freeze forever. And what may be a more normal kind of thing, that you believe that you're going to be in a box in the ground. And you know what I've said before about that is, if you are in a box in the ground, don't worry about that, because if you're in a box in the ground, you're not dead. Right? If you're laying there looking, you're not dead. So that's not something that happens to you after death. It could happen before you're dead, but not. Right? So what happens if you throw that space open where you don't really know what life and death is? I was looking at the title of a Thomas Merton book. It's called The Palace of Nowhere. We also don't know where we are. You can only know where you are in relation to somewhere else, like Utah is west of New Jersey. Okay, what if you take away all the stuff surrounding Utah, and there's only Utah? Then where is Utah? It's not anywhere. And that's true of our world. There's nothing around it that we know of. It's not anywhere. And all of this is said in a lot of the old Buddhist sutras too. They understood it back then, that this world is not a world, so provisionally we call it a world. Just have a word for it, so we can talk about it. So not knowing is an area that I would, really, it's really what the practice is all about. Not knowing. And if you work with it, and I hope you do, one of the things you'll see is that most of the things we know, you, me, and everybody else, are pretty negative. It's like, you're going to have an appointment at 3 o'clock and talk to someone and it's going to come out terribly. Or, you're going to lose your job, or this, or that. All these things about your day, and they're all really negative. The nice thing about the space of not knowing, which you can cultivate through practice and through sitting, is it's not negative. It's not necessarily New Agey positive, but it's not negative. The kind of sometimes childish views that are so positive, you don't need them either. So it's a whole other space in which you actually don't know things. And the most profound things we do not know. So that means that we really don't know a lot. So try to work with that, is what I'm saying. And remember, when you're really knowing something and you're really acting like you know what makes you happy. No, you don't. I don't. Maybe you do. If so, please tell me. But when we think we know what makes us happy, if we know what makes us happy, then we should be very happy. Now, if you know what makes you happy and you're not doing it, then do it. You know what I mean? But we don't know that. And it's what you don't know, then you can find out from moment to moment. You can be in a kind of a more empty space, more like a child is. A child doesn't know what makes them happy. They take the soap, they stick it in their mouth. It doesn't make them happy, they put it down. They take the candy, they put it in their mouth, it makes them smile. It's hard to do once you're past that age, but as I said, I think it is the only real open space that you can get to. And that open space is kind of like what I think our practice is